All right, number 9, my favorite metric. I don't get the question so much anymore, but about 2012, 2013, kind of the most frequent question we got was how did we avoid the pain of the real estate crash? If you read our book, you'll realize that we were coming into this high market we'd never been through, but we really couldn't find that ninth property or eighth property, I forget. And it was because numbers didn't make sense. Lending was so out of control, prices were so high. That first property on Norris Drive we've talked about on this series already, um, we bought for 107. We ended up selling it at 263 or 267 and did a 1031 exchange. So we moved our equity into another building. The reason we did that is we heard from a gentleman named Bruce Norris. He's a Southern California investor, now actually in Florida. But this must have been 2005 or 6. We heard him speak at a local San Jose event, and he talked about the affordability index. And if you're in any kind of market of size, you need to look up the affordability index for your market. You need to figure out what it is today. It's usually reported monthly, worst case quarterly. You need to figure out what it is today, what it was in 2011 or 12, and then what it was in 2005. And you're probably going to see something like this. The key for my market is, and again, I can say this looking backwards, if the affordability index ever gets under 15, 1.5, there's a good chance I'll sell everything, right? Back in the peak of the peak of the peak of the market, I think Fresno was like a 12 or a 13. I didn't know it at the time, but we got out like right at the right time. We 1031 all of our houses into small apartment buildings. So when the crash happened, our net worth was certainly less. But again, we spend income or cash flow, right? Pay our bills with that. So we escaped the crash relatively unscathed, and then was able to continue buying during the crash. And it's all because of my favorite metric, which is the affordability index. Again, I think in my market it gets to 20 or 21, it's kind of a yellow flag. It gets under 15, it's a red flag. I certainly won't be buying when it's under 15. I may stop buying at 20 or 21 unless I get a really good deal or maybe seller financing. Um, Today, last time I checked, it was 41. It might have been 40, but let's call it 41. So nowhere close to this crazy low affordability index. So we still have plenty of room to go. Lots of people can still afford it. Most of that's because interest rates are low, right? Because prices are up. But in reality, if we just talk about Norris Drive, so we bought it for 107, sold it at, let's call it 260. It's probably worth like 210 today, maybe 215. So we're nowhere near the peak of the market in Fresno, which is good, unlike the Bay Area that is now 30 to 40% above the peak, which is just why I can so confidently say the affordability index of the Bay Area is wacky. I would not touch, I would not buy something today in the Bay Area because the affordability index tells me it's unaffordable, right? It's probably an 11 or 12, if not below. So again, I really, really follow the affordability index. It's really made up of price and interest rate. And again, because interest rates today have a 3 on it, where last year they had a 4 on it, even though prices went up 5%, they're still more affordable. So that's all that works together. Again, the affordability index is my favorite metric and the one that I track. And I'm going to use it to protect us. Again, it gets to 20, I'm going to stop buying. It gets to 15, there's a good chance I will sell everything. But again, today, at least in my market, it's at 40. All right. Have a great day. Thanks.